In this session, we'll see some of the examples on three-phase fault under two different conditions. One is the system is unloaded, in the other case, with the system is loaded. The first example, what I'm taking here is it is the system is under no load condition. The statement of the problem is for the radial network shown in the figure. A three-phase fault occurs at point F, that is, this is a point F at which there is a fault is occurring. Determine the fault current and line voltage at L1 kV bus. What he is asking is, the first you have to find out what is the fault current IF and what is the voltage at L1 kV bus. Voltage at L1 kV bus when there is a fault occurs. That is the voltage at this particular bus. What is the voltage under the fault condition? Okay, this is a numerical what is given, and also is given select a system base of 100 MVA. He is not talking about anything about the voltage here. Therefore, you look into the diagram carefully. Here at different stages he is given the voltages. That is, the voltage of bus which is connecting to the two generators is 11 kV, whereas intermediate the bus has got 33 kV. At the feeding point it is 6.6 kilohertz, and the system is under no load condition. No load condition, I told you that if there is a voltage is under voltage at a different points of the circuit, it is unchanged if it is unloaded. Means it is L1 kV, here it is 33 kV and 66 kV here. Therefore, accordingly, the voltage of this particular transformer is, this side is 33 because it is 33 kilovolts, and here it is 66 kilovolts. Sorry, 6.6 kilovolt. Similarly, this transformer, this side is 33 kV, therefore it is 33. This side which is connected to L1 kV, therefore it is L1 bar 23 kV. This is how we have to judge the voltage rating of the transformer, based on the bus voltage. Based on the bus voltage, you have to choose the rating of the transformer voltage level on the two sides of the transformer. Okay. Now, he is not talking about anything about the base voltage. Therefore, what I am doing here is, I am taking the L1 kV as the base voltage in the generator circuit. I am choosing 100 MVA and L1 kV as the base quantity in the generator circuit. Therefore, I am start writing the base quantity. That is what I am choosing here is 100 MVA. It is L1 kV. In this circuit is also 100 MVA. Then this L1 kV should be transferred by this particular transformer. It has got L1 by 33 kilovolts rating. Therefore, the base voltage in the circuit is 33 kilovolts. And this is a 33 bar 6.6 kilovolt transformer, because it is depending upon these values. Therefore, the base quantity in this circuit is 100 MVA, 6.6 kilovolts. These are the base quantities. Therefore, once we know the base quantity, then you have to calculate the reactances, that is reactance of the generators, transformers, and the transmission line. This is a transmission line. This is a transmission line. This is a cable or a feeder. It is a cable or the feeder here. Okay, you have to find out the per unit reactances of all components in the power system. Therefore, here I am calculating one by one. That is, we are taken here 100 MVA. It is L1 kV. Here it is 100 MVA. It is 33 kV. In this circuit as 100 MVA, 6.6 kilovolts. These are the base quantities. Therefore, for generator 1, you have to find out X per unit new. X per unit new, it is kV old. The kV old is which is L1 kV, means it is also L1 kV here. This is also L1 kV here. Because this is under no load condition, means bus is maintained at L1 kV. Therefore, the generator is also maintained at L1 kV. Therefore, the actual voltage of the generator is L1, that is old. The new is also L1 whole square. MVA new is 100 divided by MVA old is the first generator is 10 MVA into old reactance is 0.15. Therefore, what we are getting here is J 1.5 per unit is the new per unit. Similarly, you have to find out for generator number 2, that is X per unit new is equal to, that is once again it is old is L1, new is also L1 whole square, and new MVA is 100, and the MVA of the second generator, that is once again it is 10, therefore it is 10. Therefore, what you are getting here is J 1.25 per unit. These are the reactances of the generator 1 and 2. Then if you are taking this as a transformer T1, this as a transformer T2, then transformer 1 I will take refer to the generator side. Therefore, X per unit new is equal to kV old towards the generator side is 11, new is also 11 whole square. MVA new is 100, and MVA old is 10 MVA 10%, 10 into 0.10. Therefore, the transformer 1, what I am getting is J 1.0. Similarly, you have to calculate for the transformer 2. For transformer 2, I am taking referring to 33 kV side. That is towards the transmission line. Therefore, here X per unit new is equal to, that is kV old towards 33 is, that is 33, base is also 33 whole square. MVA new is 100, MVA old is 5, that is into 0.08 for transformer 2. Then what we are getting here is for transformer 2, it is J 1.6 per unit. These are the the reactances of the generators and transformers we are getting. Then the important thing is for the transmission line. The transmission line, what is given is, it is a 30 kilometer, it is a 0.27 plus j 0.36. He is given an impedance ohm per kilometer. It has got 30 kilometers. Means for the transmission line, I am taking here for a transmission line. For transmission line, the per unit value of impedance can be calculated. It is Z actual divided by Z base. The actual is, it is 30 kilometers in length. It is a 30 kilometers in length. Therefore, the total for 30 kilometers actual impedance is 30 multiplied by, it is 0.27 plus j 0.36. Just what I am doing here is, it is 0.27 plus 0.36. It is for 1 kilometer for 30 kilometers. Therefore, just I am making 30 into 0.27 plus j 3.6, and the base impedance is nothing but, how we are calculating the base impedance, that is KVB square. KVB square, ZB is given by KVB square divided by MVAB. The base voltage in the transmission line side, base is 33. Base is 33. Therefore, it is 33 square divided by MVAB is, it is 100. Then you are getting a per unit reactance of the transmission line. What you are getting is 0.744 J 0.99 is the per unit reactance of the transmission line. Then cable or a feeder, the last element, it has got 3 kilometer in the length. Once again, Z per unit new for that cable is, once again it is actual by base. The actual is 3 kilometer in length, and each kilometer having the impedance of 0.135 plus j 0.08. Therefore, just you have to refer back. Here it is 0.35 plus j 0.08. Therefore, the Z per unit, it is the actual value divided by base is KVB square. The base voltage in the cable side is 6.6 kilovolts. Therefore, it is 6.6 square. MVAB is, it is 100. MVAB is 100. Therefore, what I am getting here is, it is 0.93 plus j 0.55 per unit is the impedance per unit impedance of the cable. That is, the first step in the problem is that you have to choose the appropriate values of the base quantities, then find out the new values of reactance based on the chosen base quantities. Then the next step is to draw the reactance diagram. Therefore, I am drawing here the reactance diagram. That is, there is a bus here. Here the two generators are connected. Can refer back. It is for this particular bus, L1 kV bus, we have got the two generator. The two generators can be represented by a source of voltage and it is connected to ground. Here also there is a second generator. It is also connected to ground. Then For a bus, there is a transformer is connected. The transformer T1. The transformer T1 is connected. Then there is the transmission line. It is a consist of resistance and the reactance. It is a transmission line. Then there is another bus. Then another transformer is connected here. This is transformer T2. Transformer T2. Then from the transformer T2, there is another cable. Cable is connected here. At the end, there is a fault occurs here. There is a fault occurs here. Therefore, you can complete your circuit by shorting this. Then this is our generator G1. It is a Z2. Just you go on writing the new base quantity, the per unit quantity what you are calculating. It is J1.5. It is J1.25. You are already calculated. For transformer it is J1.0. Then the T2 is J1.6, and the overhead line or a transmission line is 0.744 plus J0.99, say 0.99, and lastly the cable has got 0.93 plus J 0.55. Of course, if you are looking into the per unit value of the voltage of the generator and generators, the old value is also L1 kV, the new value is also L1 kV for both the generators. Therefore, the per unit value of this values are, it is 1 per unit, this also 1 per unit. Then if you are looking into this, these two are at the same potential of 1 per unit. Then if you are shorting this, it does not make any the difference, because this is also at 1 per unit voltage, it is also at 1 per unit. That is, these 2 points have got at the 1 per unit level. Then you can replace these 2 sources by a single source so that we can simplify the circuit. Therefore, what I am doing, I am combining these two, the sources, by a single source, because they are both are operating at 1 per unit. 1 per unit means they have got same equipotential point here. Therefore, you can short there, and these two are replaced by a single the source. Therefore, what I am doing here is I am replacing this. Then what I am getting here is this particular diagram. That is, the source is single source I am making. Then these two impedances, that is J1.5, J1.2, they are coming parallel. They are coming parallel with the bus. Therefore, what I am doing here is just I am showing these two are in parallel in this direction. Okay, that is, it is J1.5, it is J1.25. Then as it is, the rest of the impedances and the reactance as remains same. Okay, just you are reducing the circuit by combining two sources into a single source. The rest of the things are same. That is 1.0, it is 0.744 plus J0.99, and it is J0.16, it is 0.93 plus J0.55. Then the next step is you have to simplify this. You have to get a single impedance. First you have to reduce the parallel combination of these two. Find out what is the parallel combination impedance, reactance. Then you have to add all these reactances and you are getting a single impedance, a single equivalent impedance. That you have to get it. Therefore, I am drawing here the one more diagram. This is single resistance and reactance. All the things are added here. It is 1 per unit. Here there is a short circuit occurs. The total impedance, what we are getting here is 1 point, that is 1.674 J 4.82. That is Z total up to the fault point. That is 1.674 plus J 4.82. Or if you are expressing in the polar form, it is 5.1, an angle of 70.8 degree per unit. This is a total impedance. Then this is taken as a reference, an angle of 0 degree, that is a voltage. Therefore, this is the fault current. Therefore, the fault current IF is equal to, it is 1 an angle of 0 divided by 5.1 an angle of 70.8. Therefore, the fault current what we are getting here is the 0.196 an angle of minus 70.8 degree per unit. Then if you are looking to the what is the base current at the fault point, what is the base current here? What is the base current? IB at this point, because the fault is occurring at this particular point. Therefore, you are interested in the base current in the faulted point. That is, for that you have to take these two values are the base quantity and you have to calculate accordingly the base current here. Therefore, the base current at the point of the fault IB, that is what I am calculating here, is it is 100 into 10 raised to 3, that is MVA into 10 raised to 3 divided by root 3 into 6.6, because the base quantities at the fault point is, it is 100 MVA and 6.6 kilovolts. That is why I am taken here those values. Therefore, the base current will be 8750 amperes. Actual fault current IF is equal to, it is IF per unit multiplied by the base current, that is 0.196 into, just I am interested in the magnitude, 0.196 into 8750, so that the fault current what I am getting here is the finally 1715 amperes is the fault current. 1715 is the fault current. This is the first part of the numerical what he asked, that is the fault current. He asked you to find out the fault current. And the next what he asked is determine the fault current at and the line voltage at L1 kV. Line voltage at L1 kV means that during the fault, what is the voltage at this particular bus. Then what you have to do? Under short circuit condition, just I'll take up this particular figure here. That is, he asks you to find out what is the voltage at this particular point. Just I'll mark here. That is, at this particular point, he asks you to what is the voltage. Then we know what is the fault current here. Under the fault condition, what is the IF? Then what is the voltage at this point means? That is this impedance multiplied by the fault current, that gives the voltage at this point. The voltage at this point. We know the fault current. The fault current is 0.196, an angle of 70.8. Therefore, I am doing here once again, that is voltage of L1 kV bus is equal to fault current multiplied by impedance up to L1 kV bus from the fault point. So what is that? You have to find out. That is impedance between IF is were calculated, that is 0.196, an angle of minus 70.8, and impedance up to the fault point. If you are adding this, all these impedance, if you are adding, what I am getting here is, it is 1.674 plus J 4.14, or it is, if you are expressing in terms of polar form, it is 4.43, an angle of 76.8. This is the impedance up to the fault point. If you are adding all these impedances up to the fault point, from the fault point to the L1 kV bus. This is the total impedance. If you are multiplying this impedance, that is 4.43, an angle of 76.8, then what you are getting here is the voltage, you are getting 0.88, an angle of minus 3 degree per unit. That is the voltage at L1 kV bus during the fault condition. Then if you want the actual value, you are calculating the voltage at L1 kV. At L1 kV bus, the base voltage is L1 kV. Therefore, your actual voltage at L1 kV bus is equal to 0.88 multiplied by L1, that is what we are getting is 9.68 kilovolts is the voltage when there is the fault occurs at the terminals of the cables. This is how we have to find out the solution for the given numerical.